Why Ghost Recon Breakpoint is going to need a mailbox system. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I want to get into a little something that I saw. It reminded me something that World of Warcraft implemented a while back that I'd like to see implemented in Ubisoft's new titles, especially moving forward if they don't implement it now. This right here, this form made me think of this from Freeman0129. If anyone asks why we need an offline mode, and here we go from The Division. You have been disconnected from Tom Clancy, The Division 2 services. Please check your internet connection status, speed, blah, 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 blah. I think this would say it all. Right before I picked up my long chased loot, I had this. In the middle of the raid, I had this. Now I've had it. Now, we don't know all the details for Breakpoint, but we do know there is raiding, and we do know if they're going to implement some type of tiered loot system where you're actually getting rewards. If that's how Breakpoint is going to manage their loot system, Ubisoft is going to have to build some type of feature where there's a mailbox, almost like the stash in The Division, or when you're in the dark zone and you send your contaminated loot away and it shows up in your mailbox and your stash. We need that type of system, but we need that system to send us in our loot that we don't pick up for reasons like this. This is what Blizzard for World of Warcraft eventually ended up doing. I forget when and what expansion. If you were in a dungeon and you walked by loot, you didn't pick up loot, it ended up in your mailbox. So even if you purposely didn't want loot, it ended up in your mailbox, which is something I think people would be okay with. Oh, I didn't want that loot anyway, but whatever. You just take it out of your mailbox and you sell it. Because of situations like this, if you're going to start making games with everything online functionality across the entire board, you're going to get situations like this. And even though they're few and far between, these types of things destroy a player's willingness to keep going with the game, especially if he wasn't able to log in and get his loot. That's annoying. You're going to create raids where people are going to be doing difficult content, and if they get disconnected and they lose out on their loot, on their gear, that's just a headache. So I wanted to make this video to really get to the Ubisoft developers to say, hey, you guys need to start creating functionality in game that counters these situations that people go through for online play like this, or any other situation that or circumstance that might pop up or come up where people really, they're at odds ends with the way the system might work. In this case, the system booted him offline and he lost out on his gear. So Ubisoft really needs to pay attention to these types of things, because people are not happy with the always online. It's obvious. The forums does not like it. People on the forums don't like it. And if Ubisoft is going to remain quiet and remain silent for many of these issues, this is the type of community you're going to end up with. Why are the devs so tone deaf to fan outcry? AI team, not always online, no tiered loot. The three things I basically just mentioned. Oh man, here we go. Online only. Poor implementation and support blurs their vision of the future. Over in this guy's thread, we didn't go off topic discussing the idea of the online only. Rather than continue, derail, he made a new one. This guy's talking about cheating. There's just many things to discuss here when it comes to, wow, this kid wrote a novel. And at least he wrote it nice and structured. You can actually get through this. But he's talking about cheating, and there's another issue. I don't know if so much for the PvE, but for the PvP, so that's always online. So I'm not sure what he's saying. Aren't looking at what it takes to get there, ensuring the boxes are checked along the process. This is too much to read right now. But yeah, I just wanted to stress maybe some type of mailbox system for loot that's not picked up, being disconnected, being killed, and maybe you go back, the loot's not there. I don't know. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about that. I think it's a reasonable thing to ask. If some type of loot drops and it's for you, it's specifically for you, and you don't pick it up, the system should just automatically send it to some type of mailbox or stash. And I know we have that little co-op hub where you can probably go and talk to vendors and things, and maybe they'll have some type of area where you could hold your gear or whatnot. So it would be good to look into. Anyway, that's all for this video, guys. Let me know what you think about some type of mailbox system now that we're always online. If you miss out on loot, get disconnected for loot, how would that make you feel if you lost out on high-tiered loot in a raid? And if Ubisoft should maybe try to think about something like a mailbox system. So, all right, I'll talk to you guys later.